We're the Ultimate Fan Chat. I'm Dan, and that's Pete. And we just love to talk shit about combat sports. And about combat sports, what has happened this week? The biggest one was Anderson Silva versus Israel Adesanya, which was really cool to watch. I loved it. And just like Pete was saying before, it was kind of like a high-level sparring session instead of like a full-on war. Isn't that what I said?
That is exactly what I said, Dan. So it went completely different to how I expected it in the last video, my pre-fight prediction. It was a good fight. It was fun to watch. Not one you'd sort of watch as a replay, but while watching it live, you sort of got the feeling that anything could happen. So it did give that sort of suspense, and they were both quite flashy, so it was quite eye-catching. In terms of performances and where to next, I would like to see Adesanya fight at least one or two more times before getting the next title shot. There was just some things there in that fight that not made me sort of question his chances of winning the title, but I would just like to see him tested more. And the main thing was when he's pressured. So when he's fighting at his pace and he dictates the range and the pace of the fight, it's his all day. But as we saw on Sunday, every time Anderson sort of picked that pace up and really came forward towards him, I won't say Adesanya panicked, but it was on his bike. You know, it was just, not that there's anything wrong with that, but against certain people, you're not going to be able to escape. Anderson sort of made the mistake of chasing Adesanya around the ring as opposed to cutting him off, allowing Adesanya to escape from those situations. So I'd like to see him fight someone explosive and that's going to get in his face. Someone like a Yoel Romero or a Paulo Costa, even potentially Chris Weidman, although I think he beats Weidman. I would love to see him fight the winner of Paulo Costa and Yoel Romero. Or, as I'm looking at the rankings right now, a Jacare fight would be alright as well. I don't think Jacare's got anything scheduled for the time being.
I think he beats Jacare. But the really interesting ones is, like you said, Paulo Costa or Yoel. Because they pose different problems. Paulo Costa will cut off the cage and throw bombs. And we'll see how Israel deals with that kind of pressure. Like you said before, Anderson Silva would chase him, right? And then Adesanya would end up in the center of the ring with his distance. But if you manage to cut the corners, make him square foot against the cage, it's a whole different ballgame, which Paulo Costa can do. And on the flip side of things, Yoel Romero, if he gets one takedown and starts skull-fucking Adesanya, that would be impressive. So, yeah, Jacare is an interesting one, but not that interesting. I see Adesanya winning that. Go on.
It's not to say that he wouldn't pass those tests against Romero and Costa. I would just like to see them. I would just like to see that happen.
Absolutely.
The middleweight division is sort of stagnated now a bit with Whittaker's injury. Does Gastelum get the next title shot still, or does he go back into contender fights? So that's sort of also knocked back Adesanya's chances of getting a title shot anytime soon, because you've got Gastelum, who probably should still get the title shot. You've got Romero and Costa, who you'd think would be fighting. The winner should be in line for a title shot, and then you got Adesanya. So it's quite a bit of a logjam in middleweight at the moment. So it'll be interesting to see where it goes over the sort of next 6 to 9 months.
You're right. You're absolutely right. And we should talk about that. That could be, like, the UFC could be forced to be making some interesting matchups, going back into Adesanya fighting the winner of Costa and Romero. But before that, I'm really glad Robert Whittaker didn't fight this weekend, because they were saying he had a collapsed bowel hernia, and
Yeah, so I think Dana was saying something about like a hole and his bowels or something was coming out. And the doctors are saying if he had got one strike to the abdomen, he could have died in the cage. Imagine that. That would have been fucked up.
Oh, jeez. That would have backtracked MMA, especially in Australia.
Yeah, like the ramifications of that. Like, obviously, the main thing, a guy's died and that's fucked, But then imagine, the ramifications you have of MMA in a cage, especially with all the people lobbying against it in Australia. The cage ban just came, out of effect, less than 2 years ago now. maybe 2 years ago in Melbourne, it would have been a massive shitstorm. So not only, thank God it didn't happen, so the man didn't die, but the amount it would have set the sport back, not just in Melbourne, but throughout the whole country, it would have been insane.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure MMA in France is illegal.
Yes,
which is insane.
You can bet a lot of anti-MMA lobbyists would have used that as some sort of ammunition to lobby against MMA.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, did you watch? Sorry.
Go on.
I was going to say, did you watch any of the other fights on the card then, especially the Aussies fighting?
Yeah. Did you see Petar just die? Wasn't he a Hex champion or double champ?
Oh, man. I felt so bad for the guy. That was a nasty, nasty knockout. You never like to see a guy not be able to get up after the fight. What sort of freaked me out a little bit, maybe almost a full minute after the fight stopped, you could hear Dominic Cruz on the broadcast say that he had just tried to tie clinch the ref.
Oh, so, Jesus Christ.
That's how out it was. And it's never a good sign after a fight when they do the formal, what do you call it? When Bruce Buffer gets on the mic and goes, the winner by whatever, and there's only one person standing up there. That's never a good sign. But I didn't watch Nadia Kassim's fight, but apparently that was a one-sided beating.
Oh yeah, I watched it. She is a can. She has nothing. She literally just got destroyed. No, I'm being serious. She actually did nothing. I
haven't watched it, but I heard it was.
It was brutally one-sided in a sense that she literally did nothing.
Yeah, as probably a sign of how threadbare this card was, I jumped on UFC Fight Pass to watch that fight, and then realized that it was actually on the main card, so I couldn't watch it on Fight Pass.
Oh, jeez! Wow.
I didn't. Yeah. Did you see the Jimmy Crute and Sam Alvey stoppage? I haven't seen it, but I did see Dana White. I did see Dana White complaining about the stoppage today.
Yeah. So what ended up happening? Right, I watched it live. Crute caught Sam Alvey with a beautiful hook. He saw the ref come in. He stops, walks back, puts his hands up, look at the crowd, looks back. The ref steps back, and Sam Alvey's walking away, staggering. And then Jim Crute goes, "Oh fuck, it's not finished yet." Swarms him. Sam Alvey just falls down, and he has kind of like Sam Alvey's holding to. No, he wasn't even holding to a single. Oh yeah, he was holding to a single, I think. And while he's doing that, Jim Crute is just throwing punches. But as he's throwing punches, Sam Alvey's hiding his head over there, so everything's hitting just the shoulders and the triceps. But from the sound of it, because the crowd was going absolutely ballistic and insane, I think the ref just got into it, stopped the fight. But none of those punches on the ground were actually landing to the head. He was intelligently defending himself because he was going bang like this and defending and deflecting the punches with his shoulder and triceps. Yeah. None of it actually hit the head. But if Jim Crute didn't step away on the first time, he would have knocked him out. Got him? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
John Grotta, I think his name is. He's a good ref, but it happens.
He's not usually
absolutely insane.
Yeah, he's not usually one that sort of feels the ire of Dana White.
That's true.
Yeah, again, I haven't seen it, so I can't sort of make a comment on it. But yeah.
In other news, Kai Kara France, Shane Young, Israel Adesanya, all three boys who came to do a bit of training at Scammer, represent. Now you are.
Are you saying that's the reason for their victories then?
Of course, mate. We rubbed off on them. Just the environment. We weren't actually physically there, but the environment where we trained
exactly,
and sweat.
Exactly. Our spirit was there. Our spirit was there. Just quickly, what do you think, Dan? What's your opinion? Now, given obviously both instances were out of his control, but that's twice now in under 2 years that Robert Whittaker was supposed to headline a card in Australia and was unfortunately had to pull out pretty close to the fight. Do you think we're going to get another pay-per-view card in Australia anytime soon?
Yeah, of course. Because you look at how bad this card is.
Yeah.
Including the fact that Robert Whittaker, our champ,
but I'm not talking about a fight night card, but like a pay-per-view card. Do you think we'll get another pay-per-view?
Honestly, why not? Aussies buy pay-per-views, and we all go to watch. Like, remember, we'd all try to buy tickets, and literally, as we were on the second that, ticket sales were going to happen, sold out straight away. So we'll take a look at what the pay-per-view was. Do we have a number for pay-per-view?
Not yet.
Yeah, if the numbers are good,
it wouldn't be out yet.
But even if the numbers are bad, you have to take in mind that was a really shit card. It really was.
It was terrible. That was a terrible card.
What do you think, Peter? Do you think...
I don't know. Like, it's not like Whittaker was pulled out because of some active stupidity he did. Like, both things are out of his control, but like, is he cursed headlining a card in Australia? I don't know. Third time lucky, but I hope the UFC takes the risk again. Yeah, just poor guy, man. That sucks.
Agreed.
Yes.
Man, how long was he out for? That's the question. A year? 2 years? Because it's not just until he recovers. He has to train.
No. He's. I think they said 6 to 8 weeks till he can train.
6 to 8 weeks. Okay.
So he won't. That's what I mean about the logjam. Like, I don't think there won't be a title fight for maybe 6 months.
Would you risk fighting after having surgery? Like, is everything going to be stitched up well? Like, I have no idea.
Well, that's why you hope he would wait till it's all completely done till he starts training. But I mean, see, this is what's a little bit dumb about the UFC and their interim titles, right? This might actually be a decent chance to have an interim title. The guy can't train for 2 months minimum. Then he's going to need another 3 months of training. Not just fight camp. He'll need like 2 or 3 months of just training after not having trained for 2 months. Just to get the rust out, and then he'll have to have a camp. So Robert Whittaker is probably not fighting until the last maybe 3 months of the year. If he doesn't fight until then, there's not been a title fight. Because think about it, the defense against Romero wasn't actually a title fight because Romero didn't make the weight.
Yeah.
The last official middleweight title fight that wasn't an interim title was Bisping and GSP. Because Whittaker Romero 1 was for the interim title, Whittaker Romero 2 should have been for the regular title, but Romero didn't make weight. So we've not actually had an official middleweight title defense since November 2017.
Wow. So technically Robert Whittaker never defended.
He has technically not defended the title.
He has.
Again, out of his control, but technically speaking, he has not had a middleweight title defense. And like I say, he's probably not going to be back until the last quarter of the year. Hey, why not even you know what I'll do? Here's a bit of matchmaking. The winner of Paulo Costa and Adesanya, Paulo Costa and Romero, if one of them's alright to fight again in the US summer, June or July, have them fight Adesanya for the interim title.
What about Kevin? Where's Kevin in all this?
Oh, Gastelum, sorry, yes. Or have him fight Gastelum. Jacare. Have Jacare fight Adesanya, and on the same card, middleweight interim title, Romero Costa winner versus Gastelum. Because the thing is, if you want Gastelum to have a title shot, you're not going to have the guy sit. Because when did he fight Jacare? He fought Jacare, which was his last fight. Gastelum versus Jacare was in... Let me get that up. Shit, that was in May of last year. So he's going to have to fight soon. He's coming up on a year of not fighting. He can't wait for Whittaker.
I actually agree with you. It makes a lot of sense. It's good matchmaking to have the winner of Paul Costa and Romero fight Kevin for the title. And like you said before, have Adesanya fight Jacare to grow him a bit more. Because if he fights Romero or Paul Costa now, they're both very, very difficult matchups or interesting matchups. Whereas Jacare, I don't think so. I think he'll handily destroy Jacare as long as it stays on the feet.
I think so too. But again, I mean, it adds another name on his resume, another top contender, a guy who does pose issues. You know, Jacare is heavy-handed. He's got good jiu-jitsu takedown, so it is another strong test for him. But yeah, it all depends how long Whittaker's going to be out for. But yeah, I don't think he's going to fight till the last 3 months of the year. Because you don't want to rush him back. He's going to have to just train in general once he recovers, and like even before a fight camp, he'll just need to train in general. So hopefully they don't push him. Yeah. But yes, what else, Dan?
I think that was it for the card. What's next for Kai Kara-France and Shane Young?
I have no idea.
Did you watch the France fight?
Nope.
He looked good. He looked good, but he just got tired, and he's really small even for 125. But aside from that, an interesting one was Lando Venata.
Actually, I watched that fight. I didn't see the replay of the finish, but did he get that really easily? Was it a Kimura that he got him with?
Yeah.
Did he get that really easily or what?
Yeah. Yes.
Like, I was watching that and I was like, what? Did that guy even fight? Like, again, I didn't see the replay. It was just on first view, but that looked like it came very easily for him.
Yes. To be fair, the guy he's fighting is 6-5. And that was his UFC debut. No. That was his UFC debut. His record, complete record, is 6-5. And that was his first UFC fight against Lando Venata.
All right.
The question is, does he have a kickboxing record?
What was the fella's name? Marcos Rosa Mariano. Let me suss this guy out for you, Dan. Let me answer those questions. He doesn't have a Wikipedia page, but let me find out, Dan. Let me do some research for you. Marcos Mariano.
That's horrible. Like, what's the UFC doing? The co-main is 6-5, and it's not like Mark Hunt where he just fought like the biggest and greatest fighters.
To be fair, it was on the prelims. Like, it wasn't even on the main card. It was on the prelims, and they bumped that fight up. I don't know if he does, Dan. Yeah, 6-5, but I can't see any other combat sports records. But it may interest you, Dan, to know that as of 2 days ago, he was ranked 212th out of 723 active featherweights.
In the world or Australia?
The world, apparently.
Okay. I don't know, man. I watch these kind of things and I go, fuck, I can do that. But not really.
Yeah.
Ooh, aside from that, Ishihara, he's really went down a lot. Like, when he first came in, he was like, you know, possibly an interesting prospect, but now he lost to Artem. He's just on a huge losing streak.
He's very sloppy. He's just wild and I guess fun to watch, but I don't know. If you're pushing the UFC as the place where the best martial artists are, you're not going to have a guy like that around.
Yes, I agree. But because the UFC are putting on so many events, they're pretty much taking up scrubs too. It's kind of diluting the But aside from that, what I'm really looking forward to is next week's card, which we'll talk about in our next podcast. But it's really, really good because I'll just preview. Paul Daly versus Michael Venom Page. I am so excited for that fight. I really, really am.
Yeah.
It's just a good card too. It's just a good card too. Crocop's fighting on it against Roy Nelson, and it's just great to watch Crocop
Roy Nelson?
Up. He's fighting Roy Nelson, yeah.
Shit, fuck yeah. I'm looking forward to that more than I was UFC 234.
So, man, I'm really looking forward to it. Kane is coming back.
Yes.
Kron Gracie is fighting. I'm huge on Kron, so I'm really looking forward to the fights this weekend.
Definitely, we've got something to look forward to for another day, another chat.
Yes, so please look forward to our next chat, and we would like to thank our main man, Chris Bello, for making this happen, and our sponsors.
Our principal sponsors are Scammer Gym in Narrawarren. You can find them on Facebook under Scammer Gym and Scammer Fight Club. And also our other principal sponsor, Aussie Pet Doors. For all your pet door needs, go to aussiepetdoors.com.au or Aussie Pet Doors on Facebook. So you can find us as well on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And again, guys, the YouTube channel, please hit subscribe, drop us a comment, drop us a like on any of the social media platforms. Let us know what you want us to talk about, what you like, what you don't like. We take it all into consideration. Thank you for listening.
Beautiful. Thank you. And as Chris said, add into the comments, give us some questions, we'll reply.